Hey guys, you all remember Paul from World Zoom, but Paul one day was called in by the Bureau of Immigration. He was trying to extend his tourist visa online, and they said, "Come on in, we want to see you in person." Well, he went down there to be seen, do an interview, and never left. Next thing you know, he was being held in detention, then he was deported. Well, I got the same kind of notice. I have applied for my SRRV, and part of the process is I don't need a police clearance from my American Police Department, FBI. I'm over 70, but I do need an NBI. And an NBI is the National Bureau of Investigation. You have to get a clearance from them. I also have to probably go through some sort of Interpol background check, make sure I'm not wanted anywhere. But with that NBI, I got notified that I have 5 days to report for an interview. I got a hit. Something showed up on my report that they want me to come in and see them. And I said, well, can I see you here in Dumaguete? They have a NBI office here in Dumaguete. No, you have to go to the Cebu field office, the one where you submitted the application for an NBI. Well, I started getting really nervous now. Why do they want me to go in person? 2 years ago, when I applied for my 13A, I got a hit on the NBI. And they processed that with no problem. They sent the paperwork up to Manila and it passed. I got the clearance, but this time they want to see me in person. Now I'm starting to worry why they want to see me and why in 5 days? Why can't I schedule it 2 weeks out? I'm all the way down here in Dumaguete. I have to make plans to travel. And I remember other people who have gone into the Bureau of Immigration or to NBI and been arrested because there's something there. So I am worried about this. 5 days out, I'm packing, I'm planning the trip up there. And I get to Cebu City and I go see Heidi in her office and I tell her, man, I'm really nervous about this. What is there in my past that they're looking for? How far back are they going? Are they finding something I did in 1980? Are they finding something I did 4 years ago, but I'm unaware of? I'm just all these thoughts. I'm a worried wart. All these things are going through my head. What's going on? Well, she reassured me this is an easy process. It's something new where if there's a hit, they need to investigate it at the office that is handling your file. But I'm still worried. They want to see me in person. So comes the morning of the interview, and that's Thursday morning. I've been in Cebu for 4 days now, and I go to her office. She is going to have somebody drive me there. She is also going to have the attorney, her company attorney, accompany me there because I'm really nervous about this. I told her I'm really nervous and I would really appreciate it if somebody came along to help me, through this red tape. I don't know what's going on. So we get to the NBI office and her assistant who drove me there goes in, lets everybody know in the office that we're there. I sit down. Everybody in the office is super polite, super nice. But he goes into the back. And then they call me over. I go over and they tell me to sit down at a desk. And I'm really thinking about this. I said, man, I have to show utmost respect here because who knows what's coming up. So I took my hat off. I didn't wear my hat in the office. I wore a shirt with a collar. I sat in my chair. I didn't have my sunglasses on. I didn't put my elbows on his desk. I sat there nicely, calmly. He arrived. He sat down. Good morning, sir. Asked me my name, had me pronounce my last name for him so he knew how to pronounce my last name. Started going through the paperwork. Now, this is an older Filipino gentleman who demands respect, and he's not asking for it. I can see it in the staff. He sits down, they come over, he speaks quietly, and they jump. They do whatever he asks. Turn on the computer, log it in, get him the files he needs. He's reading my file, and he looks over to me, and he goes, what is your name, sir? And he asked me, where do I live? And I told him I live in Talay, Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental. And he goes, I cannot give you clearance And something got in my throat. He cannot give me an MBI clearance. And he goes, you have charges against you. You have to go to court to answer to these charges. I cannot issue an MBI clearance until this is all taken care of. I lean back. I'm at a loss. My head is spinning. What kind of charges? What did I do wrong? What did somebody file something against me? I've never heard of any charges. I never got any paperwork served. But here in the Philippines, sometimes the paperwork never makes it to you. There's been many cases. I know people who got served papers, but they never got the papers because there's no addresses on the houses. And shit just doesn't get done sometimes. So the attorney's there and my driver is there, who is a member of Heidi's team. I don't want to make him sound like he's only a driver, but he is the guy who is handling my file, filling out the file, make sure all the paperwork's correct in the file. And they're talking to him. And then I go, where's this filed at? He goes, it's filed in the city of Dumaguete. And again, another swallow in my throat. What happened? What did I do? You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm going to report you for this. I'm going to report you for that. You're going to go to hell and back. All these bad, negative things people talk about, threats that are made. Did somebody follow through on a threat? So I was really worried about this. And as we researched a little bit more and more, I'm thinking, did I rent some property? Because he said to me, the charges are destruction of property. Did I have a landlord when I first got here that I moved out and I broke something without realizing it? Maybe a chair was broken or the couch was broken or the bed frame broke or a window broke and they couldn't get hold of me. So they filed charges to get that repaired. That's the first thing that went through my mind. Was it an old landlord? But then I started thinking about it. I've only had 4 landlords since I got here to the Philippines. Could it be a hotel I stayed at? You know, you leave them the name, you leave them your ID, they have your address, that you live in Dumaguete. Could have been a hotel I stayed at. So then the question was asked, what year was this? And he comes up and he says, 2012. My eyes open up. My head, all of a sudden, this isn't me. But who is using my name? I tell him, I was not here in 2012. The attorney's there. The assistant is there. They're looking at documents. They're pulling out my passport. The interviewer started to ask me, when did you arrive in the Philippines? He has my passport in his hands. I tell him, February 22, 2022. Have you been here before? And I go, yes. But not back then. Not in 2012. I was here in the 2001, 2004, prior to the economic collapse of the housing industry in the U.S. That's when I visited the Philippines before. I was not here. So they did some more research, and he started looking at my passport, and I think they matched the passport number to the number of the file. Now, how did someone have my name? The name was spelled the same, Michael, and it was spelled the same. And the attorney told me he was not here in 2000, and the numbers. So they start talking to Visayan. Next thing I know, the gentleman said, I'm going to grant you the clearance. And he got up and he left. He said something to the girls in the office, and they started scurrying around, getting my paperwork approved, getting my documents that I needed. I left there with my documents in hand. And I have my MBI clearance. And it just surprised me how something can happen out of nowhere that you have no control over, that could control your destiny. What if he didn't believe me? You know, what if instead of being calm and collective and having support around me to help me get through this problem, what if I was an a-hole? What if I would have said something to you, fucking, You got the wrong effing guy, dude. It's not me. Raise my voice, jump out of the chair. Well, he easily could have said, we need to investigate this further, and taken that file and put it on the bottom. Never to have an MBI clearance, never to be denied a clearance, but never to receive the MBI clearance. You can really cross the line with some of these older traditional men here in the Philippines who are in authority. They want to do a good job. They were very nice to me. They were very polite and professional. They made me feel comfortable. They did not make me feel nervous. I even asked the girl, are all the foreigners nervous who have to be interviewed? And she goes, sometimes. I was nervous as heck. But what if you do have a case? What if you did do something wrong here and you were unaware of it and you never got the paperwork? A lot of guys tell me, hey, I can do the SRV all by myself. I don't need no help. I can get a 13A by myself. I don't need no help. But what if something goes wrong? What if you get a hit on your MBI? What if you get a hit from Interpol and you don't have anybody to help you walk through the process? Did it help me that I had people there who were smart and professional and could speak the language and help me get through the situation? Or was I better off by myself? You know, in the U.S., they say, if you're in front of, the police are calling you in, you go, I need a lawyer. They're going, well, you don't need a lawyer if you didn't do nothing wrong. Maybe you need a lawyer to help you get through the red tape, get through the bureaucracy of something that you don't understand. We think we understand Filipino law. We think we know what our rights are, but we don't. Because at this moment in time, I have lost my 13A. I am on a tourist visa while the SRRB is being processed. They could send me home anytime. Even once you have these visas, they can send you home if they feel need to. Sometimes you need the help of friends, of someone you hire. And I'm blessed to have some good friends who I do business with. And I'm a firm believer. I really only want to do business with you if I like you and we're friends. I'm not talking about buying, a wash machine or buying some clothes somewhere. But if you're going to hire a lawyer, you're going to hire somebody to handle your visa work, you're going to hire a real estate agent. These are people that you should like, trust, get to know, and they like you and trust you. It's not always the dollars and cents. A lot of times it has to do with the relationships that you build. And you never know with these background checks. A similar name, maybe my name is spelled differently than the person who got the charges filed against them. Maybe it's the exact same name, but maybe the birth date shows that it's so different. I don't know what information he had. It was none of my business to look at that file. My job was to answer the questions that he asked. And yes, I was worried that I was going to get arrested and I was going to be put in detention, and who knows what else could have happened, because I don't know what people do in this country where anybody can file charges against anybody. And if they're accepted by the prosecution, you have to be able to defend yourself. Me, when I went there, I made sure I had money in my pocket to pay bail if there was bail. As long as your visa's good, guys, don't ever let your visa run out. Don't take the chance, not for 1 day or 2 days. Look what happened to pro-life traveler. He missed his extension date on his visa while his passport was getting renewed. So there's a small window where he was overstayed. They used that for the reason to have him leave the country. Stay in compliance with the visa is the easiest thing to do and the most important thing to do. Always. And make sure you have representation. Do you have in your phone a phone number of an attorney if you need one? Do you have someone you could call or text in the middle of the night? Do you have your phone number to your doctor? Do you have the phone number to your landlord? Do you have the phone number to the police department here? Do you have the phone number to the fire department here? If you're in bigger cities, Dumaguete has numbers to all the emergency services. So does Valencia. Do you know all this stuff? Thank God for Heidi and her staff. They walked me through this. They made sure nothing happened. Everybody told me, oh, they just have your name spelled wrong or the fingerprint got smudged or something. No, there was an actual charge against somebody with my exact same name. And if that charge would have been a little bit more serious, or I was not able to prove what I proved to the interviewer, I could have ended up in jail, arrested, deported. Not saying any of that would have happened. Again, the staff at the NBI, from the moment I got out of the car, walked through the door, sat down, got all my paperwork, left, was nothing but smiles, polite, respectful, but very professional, very businesslike. They had a job to do, and that interviewer had a job. His job was to get to the bottom of that case to determine if it was me or somebody else. And if it was me, what was I supposed to do? Maybe get arrested, put a personal bond, and then go take care of it? I don't know. But thank God nothing happened. Guys, be careful out there. Make sure you use somebody reputable. There's so many of these visa companies out there. Are they going to walk with you, with an attorney, to an interview at the NBI office if you really need them? Or are they going to leave you out there hanging saying, hey, you got to go to NBI and go get interviewed. Let us know how it goes. Until next time, thanks for watching.